Welcome to Swinger University, your horizontal enrichment program. Lessons that make you hot for a teacher all over again. Here are your hosts, Ed and Phoebe.
Hi, this is Ed.
And this is Phoebe.
Today we're continuing our series for May's Masturbation Month and crossing into the visual realm. As soon as we had the technology to produce moving pictures, pornos were born. Moving visual stimulus of real people having sex is about as close as most vanilla folks get to what swingers get to see at any party.
Thank goodness.
We talk about some of our favorite porn sources and a few we found that we want to check out more.
So let's talk about pornos. It sounds so cheesy when I say that, pornos. Blech.
And that's exactly why I wrote it that way, because everybody jokes about pornos because there's the whole bow, chicka, wow, wow.
I know.
The super cheesy, just bad music, corny scenes. Anyway.
I know.
So
some people, though, really like the scenes and the stories. I know a lot of porn still does that, but I still fast forward past it.
Yeah. So let's start with some statistics.
Okay.
It's fun.
Okay.
Here are some fun facts about porn in the United States. Now, I'm sure that there's some of these statistics that apply to other places, but these specifically are about the United States. There are 37 new porn videos made every day.
Which I think is crazy because it should be 98 every day.
And I was going to say, it's probably more than this. And I suspect that, in full disclosure, because I'm in a full disclosure kind of mood after this week about a whole bunch of stuff.
I know. Ed and Phoebe are like coming out strong now.
These statistics, a lot of them are based from porn addiction statistics, right? So it's all from that angle of porn is a destructive force in our society and we must eradicate it. I personally don't believe that. I think, yes, there are definitely some bad aspects of porn, and I'm sure there are people who get involved in the pornography industry that are taken advantage of and all of those things. But there's some good porn out there too, that they're doing it ethically and it's got good stories and people aren't being coerced in it. I mean,
right.
There are sex workers who are now actually making decent living wages because they control their content and what they put out, and it's them, right? Like they chose to do this. I mean, OnlyFans it's incredible for some people to be able to produce their own stuff and make a living at it and not be taken advantage of by the system. Anyway,
Exactly.
Soapbox, slide that to the side. Let's get back to some funny, goofy statistics.
Okay.
28,000 people are watching porn at any given moment. So right now, there's 28,000 people watching porn.
Yeah.
I actually think some of these are low.
Low. It still sounds so low to me. I'm like, what? Only 28,000? What?
I can almost name 28,000 people who are probably watching. No. 35% of all downloads on the internet are related to porn.
So just over a third.
Yeah. So that's like a third of all the downloads on the internet.
Still, I feel like it should be more like 40, 45 almost.
Yeah, but then you got like YouTube, which is a lot.
True.
And there's other stuff too.
That's
and
true.
You can think of all the streaming services and news sites and things like that. So, you start to factor it in. You're like, 35%.
Third.
Still, that's a big
More
chunk
than
of
a third. Yeah.
cock coming through the internet. Just saying.
And vagina.
Well, yeah,
Vulva.
of course. 87% of men aged 18 to 35 watch porn weekly.
Yep.
Sounds accurate.
Sounds accurate.
Only 28.5% of women watch porn weekly. So you can tell, unlike the last episode where women are much more imagination, they want to picture themselves in that situation, and they can't picture themselves probably because most porn is shot from the male perspective, which is a whole thing that we'll kind of talk about a little bit. We are going to get
into that. Yep.
And I have an explanation for that too.
Yes.
Although some people can probably figure this out already. Here are some sadder statistics, or at least some sadder facts about all of this. Sex education is largely left up to individuals to educate themselves. It's true. We live in a puritanical nation. Porn, sexuality is highly suppressed in our society. And as a result, things like sex education are generally not taught, or they're taught in such a cursory way because you don't want to inspire people to actually have sex. You just want them to go have completely uneducated, unprotected sex.
Well,
because that's much better. Anyway.
They're better. They are much better at educating people to not have unprotected sex and to be safe.
In some places, but not in all places.
Really? Still? What? Where are
100%.
we? Oh, my goodness.
100%. And this is probably the most unfortunate aspect of this, and that's most people, at least people who are coming of age in this day and age, use porn as a primary source of education about sex. And I think this has been largely true for decades.
Yeah, magazines.
Yeah, the Playboy magazine that your uncle had underneath, his bed, or dad had in the garage.
I was reading my friend Diane's dad's collection at age. What age are you when you're in like third grade? Second grade? 8? Are you like 8?
It's like 6 or 7.
Yeah, that was my first porn. That was my first Playboy magazine.
Wow.
And I loved going over to her house.
Naked.
She was like, I've already seen all these. And so here's just a little story.
A little porn history here.
It was down in the basement, and he had in this entire dresser, and it was a huge dresser.
Oh, yeah.
So it was about, the dresser, it was about, 4 or 5 feet tall, so about waist high, right? And it had 6 drawers that pulled out, and they were full of Playboy magazines. Stacks. My God, he must have had over 1,000 magazines in there.
Yeah. It's probably like
5-10
years worth of subscription.
Oh yeah, it was amazing, and I loved going down in her basement and just looking through all these. And she wanted to play with me. She wanted to do something fun because she'd already looked through all these. She already seen all this stuff. She's like, it was old hat to her. It was like no big deal. I'm like,
I don't have these.
I need to see this. She had all the cool stuff. Diane had the great stuff. She's the one who had the hamster. Her dad had the Playboys. Of course, they had all the fun foods, right? They had the soda and the Wonder Bread, all the bad shit that gives you cancer that we didn't have.
Right.
Of course, I loved going over her house to eat all the bad food because it was fun.
And didn't she have one of the old school, like, giant satellite dishes?
Oh, that was the other friend, Veronica, who had the old school. Yes, it was, the size of a house, small car,
everything, including the porn channel.
The porn, and so same thing happened in high school. I'm over at her house watching all the porn, and she's like, "Come on, let's go do something fun." I'm like,
"You're like, go away, I'm busy."
You have porn for free. I can watch it here in your living room. I'm not going anywhere. So she'd get mad at me.
I personally don't see the attraction, but
it was so great. Okay.
So here's the last statistic before we get into the meat of the show.
Oh.
The porn industry's, and this one was fascinating, the porn industry's annual revenue is more than the NFL, NBA, and MLB combined. It is also more than the combined revenues of ABC, CBS, and NBC. So, clearly it's a very lucrative business. People seem to be very horny, and they're making money.
And I will tell you, based on a conversation at our local nudist resort from a woman who rakes in a cool 10 grand a month, that there is no shortage of money to be had for any sex worker out there.
Right.
On Chatterbait, OnlyFans, etc.
Right.
I was fascinated by the amount of information she decided to share with us for 3 to 4 hours on this topic.
Amazingly educational. Like, we learned so much.
So much. The ins and outs, how to set up the business, the support network, this and that and the other thing,
Right.
the security protocols, blah, 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 blah. And the money. My God, $10,000.
Well, and the critical thing to kind of derive from the last statistic and this story is there's something for everybody out there. So if you have a niche, if you have a particular kink or fetish or whatever you want to call it, somebody's making material content for that. And so if you take everybody's kinks and you add them all up, that's why this business is so big.
I think that was Boz Lerman. Something for everyone.
There's something for everyone. And we have found that in the lifestyle too. Like, you know, everybody has body image issues. We won't go too far off topic on this. Everybody has body issue images, but there's somebody at the party that's going to think you're hot. So just go be you.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Go be a butterfly. Woo!
Yeah, because somebody's going to be like, damn, look at that. I want some of that. Maybe they'll talk to us.
Yeah.
So here's some sites you should check out. Let's get back to the porn here because, you know.
Okay. Whew.
First, let me say this. These are not your parents' pornos. So not the traditional, you know, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s porn with the whole like cheesy. And you know what, though? There's some nostalgia to the cheesy porn for sure. But it is really corny. You know, the whole cliches of the pizza delivery guy or the plumber or the burglars that break into the house. There was actually a whole thread that they talked about, you know, a dozen ridiculous premises that porn are breaking on. Like the burglar breaks into your house and of course you just have to have sex with them.
Right. Well,
that makes sense.
the ones they still do today, which I actually like, are the ones in the car or the taxi porn.
Yeah. Those are kind of funny.
I like those.
Yeah, those are funny because those play off of the whole like public exposure,
Yes.
sex in public, sex with strangers kind of a thing, which is kind of fun.
Random.
But they're totally like ridiculous at the same time.
I know, but
No less hot.
Yes, but I like the confined spaces and the fact that it's like kind of dangerous because they might get caught.
Right.
The whole danger.
And the categories of porn and the porn that we're going to talk about here too are less of the raunchy porn. Now, some people are totally into this stuff, and we're not trying to yuck your yum. If you are into this stuff, that's cool. But things like, and there's a party that we go to, a house party, when they always have this up on their big screen TV, and it's like, I'm exaggerating a little bit, like triple anal penetration close-ups.
It's so big.
It's just
so
like
big.
It's like a 14-inch anus with like 3 cocks shoved into it. Now I know you probably can't get 3 in there, although that might actually be entertaining if you could see that.
It's just very distracting, and it's just so in your face that it's like hard to have a conversation with anyone at the party.
And it is the like extreme gonzo porn where it's like she's making the crazy facial expressions, and it really is the cheesy low budget anal porn.
I gotta make some suggestions. I got close enough to the host. I'm gonna make some new suggestions.
And the other one that didn't make the list, but I want to throw it out here because it's actually one of my personal favorites, and that's parody porn. I actually kind of like the corny parody porn because they take a movie or a genre that you're like, you grew up with, and they twist it and turn it into something dirty. So, the Star Wars porn. There was one a while back that was Who's Bangin' Palin? Sorry. I misquoted the title. Shame on me. Who's Nailin' Palin?
Aha.
It was a political parody with supposedly Sarah Palin getting fucked in her office. And it was great because the actress looked very much like Sarah Palin, which was hilarious. And
so a parody on Scooby-Doo, a parody on the Jetsons.
Oh, you name it.
It is out there.
They've done the Addams Family. They've done the X-Men, Star Wars.
What's the one we love with the blonde and the turkey that they decided for Thanksgiving Day? They decided to throw turkeys out of the helicopter or the airplane.
Oh, WKRP? I wish they
WKRP.
did a WKRP parody. That would be hot. Of course, I actually just want to see the actresses from that show just doing porn, because that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. Yes.
Lonnie Anderson and oh God, I can't remember, Bailey. Whoever
Bailey is, the brunette. Yeah.
Yeah, she was my Mary Ann.
Yes.
From Gilligan's Island.
Yes.
Anyway, the quiet ones with the glasses.
Oh my God, so good. Okay, we have to go find it now.
Yes. So the first one we're going to throw out here is it's a fun one. It's makelovenotporn.tv. So it's real world sex in all its glorious, silly, beautiful, messy, reassuring humanness. And we're taking copy from their website, kind of promoting their stuff, but it's real amateur porn submitted by normal, everyday people. So
love it.
They're not like overly glamorized, not real people.
Not taking cues from the director to turn your head and open your mouth and go,
Yeah, position 2, position 3, right?
Now flip.
There's not a metronome basically driving
turn your head.
The sex. Okay, time for the money shot, right?
Yeah.
Like, these are real people having like funny, sexy, passionate, you name it. They're having that kind of sex because everybody has sex a little bit differently and people are in different moods, and you get to see a lot of that stuff. So it's pretty cool. So viewers get to submit their own content, which is super cool. You can contribute to the site.
Yep.
And like I said, you get to rent real life sex. So this is about as close as you get to visiting a swinger
party
and watching it, because it's real people. Like,
maybe that's why I like it. Sounds kind of creepy now that I want to say it, but I only actually I've done it with a few people, but usually only with you when you're having sex. You guys, literally, I will still, mostly in the beginning when we first started swinging, but I will still get like right up there. My face is literally
like at the penetration.
Oh yeah, because that's the shot, the money shot for me that gets me off. So I'm literally 12 to 16 inches away from Ed's ass and his dick penetrating another woman and watching her lips, that grip around his cock. Fucking hot.
Yeah, it's pretty
so
cool.
hot.
And I get the fascination for you, because I think we've talked about this before.
I don't get to see any of
Women's
that.
genitals are underneath them. They don't get to see what's going on down there unless there's a camera or a mirror involved.
Right? We need to mount a mirror on our ceiling. But even then, it wouldn't
still
be
not
the
quite
same.
the same. Yeah.
We just bring in a camera guy every time we want to have sex.
Right. Or just another couple, and then we just get to see it, but it's just with somebody else.
Right.
And there you have it. So it's interesting too, because the Make Love Not Porn, they actually kind of curate the content from the standpoint that they kind of review it before it goes up, and they basically weed out any of the stereotypical porn. So all that 70s, 80s, 90s porn kind of pizza guy thing, they don't let that go up on the site, because they don't want it to turn into cheese porn.
So if you're submitting an entry and it looks too cheesy or too scripted, they're like, thank
They're
you, but
gonna
no
reject
thanks. Got it.
There's a wide range of people in the movies, in the films, and there's a wide variety of locations and sex experiences. So lesbian sex, couples, pegging, indoor, outdoor. You kind of name any situation.
I forgot what pegging is. What's pegging?
That would be a gentleman receiving from a lady with a strap on.
Oh. That's fun.
Yeah, there's all kinds of fun stuff.
That's fun.
And it's interesting because there was a TED talk called Porn World versus Real World, and it was a TED talk that went absolutely viral because of the content of it. But the woman who did the TED talk is the woman who started this website.
Oh, nice.
Make Love Not Porn. And what's interesting is, here's a fun little statistic. To date, the woman who did the speech, Cindy, is the only person to say the words "come on my face" 6 times during a TED talk.
That's awesome.
So she's kind of made the Guinness Book of World Records, so to speak, for a TED talk.
That's awesome.
I mean, how many TED Talks would actually even venture into that realm?
Okay, we can top that by saying it on the PCAP stage in a few weeks.
Yeah, of course, it's not a TED Talk.
I know.
But there you go.
Okay.
And one thing to know, too, if you were interested in maybe submitting some of your own videos and participating in, well, letting the rest of us enjoy your content and your experiences, it's a 50-50 profit split on the rental fees. So that's kind of cool.
We are going to talk about Lustery next, which we had talked about in our Audio Erotica podcast. They have video also, as well as Audio Erotica. They have a lot of amateur contributions, and I've seen them, and they are hot.
Yeah.
They are real, and they are sexy.
We subscribed for a period of time. I can't remember how long we were subscribed to them, and we watched quite a few of those.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, a wide range of people, a wide range of sex and situations, and real sex, not scripted. And you submit your videos. They will coach you and tell you, about lighting and things like that. So you want to do a submission, they have kind of a checklist of when to shoot, where to shoot, what kind of lighting to have.
Right.
And then they caution you also to not do the standard, scripted. Exactly. They don't want it to look scripted. They want it to be very natural.
Right.
And just like no one's there, right? You're just doing what you normally do.
It's like you're sitting in the bedroom with the couple, which is kind of hot.
Yes.
They also have a number of like search or filter options. So if you're looking for a particular thing, they've got some like categories of stuff. So if you're looking for women, or you're looking for pubic hair.
Oh yeah.
If you're looking for
thing of the past.
Right? Yeah.
Right. It's coming back.
It's there, and they kind of give you that option to be able to look for the thing that really, well, I don't know about anybody else. I actually, my sexual preferences are, what I'm kind of into that day change from time to time. Like one day it's large breasts, and one day it's small breasts, and
suicide girls the next day.
Yeah.
Tall women the next day. And I know you just love everybody.
I
This is what I love about you.
I enjoy a lot of stuff. So there's another one called Frolic Me, and it's got a little bit of everything.
And it's FROLICME.
Right.
Okay.
It's tasteful erotic films and sex videos for women and couples. That's how they kind of pen what their site is. But they also have erotic stories, photography, audio, and it was founded by a woman named Anna Richards. So it's it's
Nice.
one of these sites, another one of these sites that's very women-centric, women-focused, women business owners. And it's kind of fun because you're kind of starting to see the trend that women kind of like the real thing and not the fake thing.
Yeah.
Which I actually think is really cool because it's considering the statistics early on, right? If your education was based on watching pornos, these are the kind of pornos you want to watch because these are real people having sex, not the fake, arbitrary, bizarre pseudo sex that they have in the classic porn.
Right.
I think it's great.
Right. And these porn sites, the ones that are very women focused, are shot from a different angle.
Right.
So let's talk about that briefly, because I prefer this much more than I prefer the porn on, let's say, RedTube, right? Where it's very male focused,
Right.
From the male's perspective. And Ed explained this to me about 2 years ago, and the light bulb went off, and it totally made sense. That I said, well, why is it that some of this porn, you never see the guy's face ever? And you see the whole woman, you don't see the guy, and it's from like, you don't see all of them. You don't see two bodies. And he said, because
it's mostly shot for men because men are the predominant consumers of porn, and men want to picture themselves in that situation. And so if they basically dehumanize the man, they basically make him
a cock,
disembodied cock having sex with this woman. It's easier for men to kind of insert themselves into that visual.
So that porn does that for men, whereas the audio porn does that for women.
Right.
Where they can be the star in the show.
And I would say guys need to get a little bit more creative and probably less of this POV stuff, because while that's great, I can picture the same thing and it doesn't have to be that POV shot. I can get a little bit more creative and think outside the box. It doesn't have to be literally the camera. He's got the GoPro strapped to his
Yes.
chest, filming his...
I know.
It doesn't have to be that.
Right.
But that's
Right.
the thing.
Right. So a lot of these videos are shot. You get to see two people. Hello.
Right. It's more of a
Amazing.
third person perspective.
Yeah. And what is it? What's my favorite? One of my favorite is it's not Lustry.
It's down below.
It's down below.
It's down below. We'll get to it.
I'll tell you. Remind me the perspective that they use and the color that they use.
Yeah.
Because I absolutely love it, and that's key to
I'll
what
get
they
into
do.
that, for
It's
sure.
key.
All right. So speaking of directorial perspectives and kind of how the films are shot, here's one called Erica Lust. So ErikaLust. She's actually a woman director, and she produces high quality storytelling and realistic representations of sex. Her focus is on equal pleasure, diversity of performers, and an ethical production process have helped to change how we collectively consume pornography. So I ran across her stuff, and it's interesting. They're very much like those art films that you go see in the cool theaters in downtowns all the time. They're very artistic. They're shot in kind of great moody lighting, a variety of subjects. But each film these aren't like scenes. They're like full movies, full films.
Oh.
So it's not like, the boyfriend comes home and then they have a romantic scene with the two of them making love in the living room with the really nice lighting. It's a whole bunch of different scenes, and it's a variety of different scenes, and it strings together into a story. So her stories are pretty cool. And if you visit her site, there's some previews for it. And I'm sure you can buy the content from her as well. But it's kind of cool, and it's way different than any of the other stuff on this list because it's a director's vision of how she wanted that story told.
I want to buy some of that.
Yeah, it might be kind of fun. And like I said, it's really eclectic. Like there's all kinds of different stuff.
Hello, Friday night.
Yeah, it'd be fun and entertaining to watch.
Friday night, date night. Friday night, date night, fuck night.
It's business.
What's the next one?
The next one is one.
Is this my favorite?
No.
Gosh darn it.
Your favorite is the last one. The next two are very similar, and I found the second one when I was looking for the first one.
Aha.
So there's a site called Abby Winters, Abby Winters. Wholesome young amateur women alone together, and this is new. They just added this, and with their boyfriends. So it used to be mostly women masturbating or women playing with each other, which was super hot. So if you're into lesbian porn, this is all like very wholesome girls next door, varieties of shapes and sizes. They're all Australian.
Oh, because
it's Australian porn. They've been in business for 22 years.
What?
So it's been around for a while.
Holy crap.
It's real masturbation.
Nice.
And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll set up a camera for the women to do their thing by themselves and not have like a crew and a boom mic. So it's really just a girl and the camera. So you really are like as close as you can get. There's a camera rolling, but
Right.
but you're watching someone masturbating, which is perfect for this month, right? It's masturbation month. So it's kind of hot, and you get to watch how they pleasure themselves and how they roll around and change positions and the fun stuff that they do with themselves.
So either you forget about the camera or you focus on the camera and you kind of think of it as a voyeur.
Right.
Or an exhibitionist situation where you're being watched.
And they were kind of joking about the boyfriends being involved now because they're not professional porn stars, right? And so it doesn't always go to plan. It's not always
funny.
the best, right? Like it's not.
Right.
There's no Oscar performance here. Sometimes it's a little goofy and there's some mishaps. So it's real, which is kind of cool.
Okay, I'm digging it.
And I really like the girls, the aesthetic, because they're kind of hippie, kind of, very natural looking girls, which are super sexy. And I say girls, but women.
Yes. Okay.
There's a very intimate feeling to the whole thing, and it's shot pretty well, which is kind of fun.
Oh, good. That's also okay. That's Saturday night.
That would be Saturday night. So,
Whee! Yes, please.
the next one, which is kind of fun, is one called Girls Out West. It's owned and filmed by women. It's all women, solo and with each other. So it's actually kind of like what Abby Winters used to be before they introduced the boyfriends. And I suspect it's a way, I'm sure Abby Winters did that to differentiate themselves from Girls Out West. And Girls Out West is also an Australian company.
Oh.
Which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to talk
the name.
to some people at PCAP who are Australian and see if they have any kind of, association with that or know anything about it or what the history was with that, with the Australian.
I love how my mind automatically goes to cowboy boots and just nakedness. When you say Girls Out West, I just think naked with cowboy boots.
Hot. Some of my favorite, like, classic cheesy porn is cowboys and boots and water
hay bales
troughs and hay bales,
fences
all
and
that stuff.
Yeah.
Rolls in the hay. Okay, so the last two, and I'm going to lump them together because they're really similar. They're a little bit more traditional in the kind of the classic sense of porn, because I'm pretty sure that they're all paid actors and actresses. But
You think so?
I don't know for sure. But the production quality, the visuals on these are really, really good. So it's definitely a professional film crew. They have a really good eye for lighting and composition, and I'll say this: it doesn't look scripted. It feels very natural.
Yes.
But it's produced to a quality level where, being an artist and a producer of like commercial content myself, I know that someone scripted that.
Oh.
But they did a really good job on it because it looks natural, which means it's twice as hard to shoot. Because to make something look easy, to look natural, like you watch the Olympics, right? And you watch people who do something and it's like effortless, and you're like, yes.
Like ballet.
It's effortless because they spent thousands of hours, tens of thousands of hours practicing that over and over and over again. So anyway, these films are really well shot. The lighting is super
bright,
soft lighting. It's very white and clear and pure, but it's not like stark. It's not like bright. It's just
it's cozy.
It's almost fuzzy.
Yeah, these are my favorites because of the whiteness.
Yeah.
Like the linens are white, the walls are white, the pillows are white.
It's a blank canvas.
But it's not hospital. It's not sterile. It's not cold. It's still warm and cozy. I don't know how they do it, but the bodies just stand out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's phenomenal. And the bodies don't look weird. It's just
they're very natural looking people. There's not a lot of like really large fake boobs. That they're all what looks like normal proportioned people doing sexy things together.
Yeah.
It's very sensual. It's very artistic. It's very erotic, but still
they genuinely look like they are into each other.
We haven't said what the two sites are, so let's get to that, because we've been
teasing them
so into the visuals, right? It's a site called X-Art and another one called Wow Girls. And, check them out. You can see a lot of their stuff on Pornhub and a lot of other places. They'll put teasers out. So if you want to kind of preview what they're like, it's really nice, and it looks very natural. And it looks very real.
It does.
But still very high production value and less home movie, more like professional porn, but not at the same time.
Yes.
If you will.
Yes. Love.
Yeah, we've enjoyed those films.
I know. All right, Ed. You have had fun researching these sites. I know of a few of them, but Ed has done more research and found some other ones that I am super excited to watch during Friday night, date night, and we've added Saturday night, sex night to the list because we have to. And for research purposes, of course. So this was all, as you can imagine, for scientific purposes. And if you are looking for some higher quality porn that isn't cliche, try checking some of these out. We think you are really going to love them.